Welcome to the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Justin Charles and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. Josh and Justin with you again here. We're going to be going through some wide receiver values in redraft leagues, getting you guys ready for those drafts coming up. I know it's mid-June, but we were just doing our other show talking about fantasy football leagues, August, and that beginning of September when a lot of people are going to draft. I mean, that stuff's coming soon. It'll be here quick.
It's already here for me in some leagues.
Redraft?
No. Redraft.
Oh, okay. You're talking Dynasty.
Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we did just finish up our Dog Pack Dynasty League rookie draft, so we'll just kind of go through those results, give you guys an idea of where the rookies are going if you have not yet done your Dynasty drafts, and if you have, let us know where things differ, like some of these picks, because if you guys did your drafts back in April or May, whenever the draft just finished up or anything like that, I'm sure the results were different than what, especially those second through fourth rounds.
I agree.
First round, a lot of times is chalky, but the
might be different in a month also.
That's very true. That is very true, because training camp and preseason sways a lot of things. So before we dive into that stuff, just want to remind you guys, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe on YouTube. I think we did just get to 10 followers, so that was awesome. We are cruising on our way. It's pretty cool. So appreciate you guys. And if you're listening on audio, please give us a 5-star review. Apple Podcasts, a written 5-star review helps out the show a ton, and we really do appreciate all of that. And if you guys are interested in playing fantasy football with us, you're more than welcome to go to jointhedawgs.com, join our Patreon. It's for Browns fans primarily. That's who's in there. Is our Browns fan, hangout and everything, but we are playing a lot of fantasy football. We have a lot of leagues. So if you're just interested in that and that's something you want to do, you're more than welcome. So just wanted to make sure I extend that
absolutely
to you guys as well. So I don't think we really have any news other than maybe something we just touched on the other show was Amari Cooper. Okay. I think that might be something we should talk about real quick for fantasy. He is currently holding out, did not report to training camp for the Browns, wants a contract extension. And last we heard, it's not so much about the money, it's more about the contract duration. I think I'm guessing he wants probably 3 years.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, give him 3 years. I know he's in his 30s, but
he's just 30. He just turned 30. So we talked about it. I still think at 33, he could be a valuable player. Now for fantasy, if you've got him in a dynasty league, this could be, I wouldn't be trying to, I don't know. I feel like the value might be kind of low right now because of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So we think the deal's going to get done. We think he's going to be in Cleveland playing with the Browns. So he's been great in Cleveland. Yep. So I don't think there's really a whole lot to worry about, but I just thought it was worth bringing up and talking about.
No, I'm with you. For me, he's a guy that even in dynasty, I think he has value. You know what I mean? Especially if maybe not right now. It might not be great right now, but let's say he goes off the first few weeks, puts up a couple 20-pointers, or, there's a nice breakout game. There's no reason why the value won't just go up. Obviously the older he gets, the value goes down, but like Amari Cooper, somebody I would want on my team.
I think he's going to age kind of like Keenan Allen, where Keenan Allen's 32. I think this is his 32 age season, and he's still got value. He's still a receiver that okay, I can put him in my wide receiver 3 flex, maybe even a wide receiver 2 spot some weeks. Yeah. And you might still get those boom wide receiver 1 games out of him, but I think he's going to be a solid, go out there and get you. A PPR league, hell, he could be 15, still.
He had monster games last year.
Yeah.
Huge, at one point he was the number 1 receiver in the, in fantasy. So, for both of them, Jesus, Keenan Allen, I'm all in right now. I'd be very okay with that, especially, I think Chicago's offense is going to be crazy.
Me too. And I think all 3 receivers are obviously there's a time and a place to invest in each of them. I think they're all worth it at a certain point. I do think DJ Moore is going to be more of your explosive, have these big, just nasty boom game. That's what he's always done. And he's always been really good with mediocre quarterbacks. So if Caleb Williams can be mediocre or better, DJ Moore should be fine, but I just think it's going to be Keenan Allen's a dude that's going to be a rookie quarterback's best friend. I mean, he helped Justin Herbert have a phenomenal rookie season, and I think he'll do the same for Caleb because he just knows where to be. Just like Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper knows where to be on the field for his quarterback. And, I did an episode a few weeks back talking about Deshaun Watson being an undervalued quarterback this year. I think he's going to have a great year. So if he has a great year, Amari's going to have a very good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right, cool. So let's talk about this fantasy draft real quick.
Okay.
So we just wrapped up our rookie draft. It's the first rookie draft of this Dynasty League because last year was our startup. And, and we just did a mock draft on last episode going through the first 2 rounds. So in real life, this is how it played out. So Caleb Williams went first, followed by Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels didn't go till 4, Brock Bowers at 5, Romo Dunze at 6, Jonathan Brooks, then J.J. McCarthy, Drake May at 9, Xavier Worthy 10, Bo Nix snuck into the first round at 11, finished with Ladd McConkey at the end of round 1. Round 2 goes Xavier Legette, Keon Coleman, Trey Benson. Then I actually traded in because I bailed out. I didn't really have any picks.
Right.
Traded back into the second. I grabbed Michael Penix at 204, and then goes Brian Thomas, Ben Sennett, A.D. Mitchell, Blake Corum, Jalen Polk. Then I traded back into the second again and grabbed Ricky Pearsall, who, Andrew Jackson, I love you, man. But I can't believe you took Jalen Polk over Ricky Pearsall. Just say that. Then goes Ray Davis, and it ends second round with Roman Wilson. All right, we got two more rounds. So third round, Jatavian Sanders, Braylon Allen, Malachi Corley, Theo Johnson, Jalen Wright, Troy Franklin, Marshawn Lloyd, Jermaine Burton, Javon Baker, Kamani Vidal, Luke McCaffrey, and Isaac Garendo.
Okay.
That was the third round. So then we go into the fourth round. And things in the fourth round got a little spicy. I traded into fourth round. You traded into the fourth round.
Yep.
And this is the first league I've done with fourth round picks. Usually it's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I have third.
And actually, there were some players to take in the fourth round.
I had to trade in to get the guy I wanted.
Yeah.
I was afraid he wasn't going to be there.
I don't think he would have been either.
Yeah.
So it started off with Tyrone Tracy, goes Bucky Irving, Devontae Walker, Will Shipley, Cade Stover. I traded in the next 2 picks. I got Jalen McMillan and Rasheen Ali. And then goes Brendan Rice. And then you traded in to take Jordan Travis. And then after that went Spencer Rattler, Jacob Cowing, and it ended with Malik Washington. And that was our rookie draft.
It's crazy because the fourth round for technically a round that, usually isn't there. A lot of good guys.
I was surprised too.
A lot of good guys. So I've done probably 3 rookie drafts now. And the weirdest guy in all of them is Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin. I've seen Troy Franklin go first round, end of the first round, beginning of the second round. I've seen him go third round. I mean, I think he's definitely has an opportunity. I don't know if he's number 1, only just because you have Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims is there. But if the chemistry between him and Bo Nix is legit,
it could be something.
Could be a wide receiver 1. I don't think that's the case, but if you're stealing him in the third and he could be a first round talent, good for you.
I agree. Yeah, he went mid-third. So overall, the draft I thought it was a lot of fun. It went a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. We did 8-hour picks. I thought
this is going to be.
No, I was actually golfing for Father's Day when the draft kicked off. And it was like, okay, cool. Pick, 101s on the board, on the clock. And I was just wheeling and dealing. I kind of woke up that day I'm going to see if I can get Marvin Harrison. Screw it. So I'm talking to some people at the top of the draft, what all do you want to move out of this spot? And so I told a couple of people, picks 1, 2, and 3. I said, well, just let me send you some offers. And then if you don't want it, just don't worry about it. And so I got out of the cart, went up, putt, came back, sat down, and we were on pick 6. And I'm like, what? Just for fun, what were you willing to give up to go up? It'd be 1, 2, I guess. Dude,
I feel like you it's kind of a haul.
I honestly don't remember. I know I had 2 future first round picks in there.
Yeah.
I was giving up some players. Honestly, it wasn't anything. I didn't have high confidence it was going to get done.
Okay.
So I was just kind of feeling it out.
See.
But No, I mean, I think it went really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good time. I almost had to spectate the whole thing, but, came in at the end.
Yeah, I know. I traded into the fourth, and you texted me right away and said, who are you looking at here? And I told you I was looking at Spencer Rattler, which I was, and I thought, I bet you Justin's looking at a quarterback here. And I figured you were looking at Rattler too.
No,
you were looking at Jordan Travis to back up Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. And Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's still there. He's a kid. For me, I'm like these are basically dart throws.
Oh, sure.
These are big time dart throws. I just really liked him in college. I thought he was like super athletic. He pretty much put that team on his back. And, once that injury happened, it kind of messed up everything that he was trying to do as far as, I don't know where he would have went if he doesn't get injured, but his draft value is way, way higher. And I look at the situation, I see Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, if he can stay healthy, how many more years do we see Aaron Rodgers really playing? 1, 2?
1, 2 at the most, I would say. Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, I let this kid do the Jordan Love thing and sit back for 2 years. And then hopefully I have a starting quarterback in a couple of years on a 4th round dart throw. Give me that all day.
Yeah. I mean, he's a little bit older prospect, 24, but you never know how these things are going to play out. I mean, and at the end of the 4th round, I mean, totally worth a shot because somebody was going to snag him right at the tail end, or he was going to be a high priority
you're
free agent on the waiver. So
drop Fab. I figured a lot of money in Fab to just snag him up when he's but
that's kind of what I did last year in our other league with Aiden O'Connell.
I did it with 2 other quarterbacks and they both busted on me.
I did it with Clayton Tune as well, and that didn't work out. Hey, you know what? You take those swings and see what happens. So this episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Let's all take a minute to wish happy birthday to the United States of America, and there's no better way to celebrate America's birthday than with the best meats available for your backyard cookouts this 4th of July season. Right now, you can save 50% off site-wide during the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. So break out the grills and get ready for the 4th of July celebrations with Omaha Steaks. Get the burgers, the chicken, the jumbo franks, the brats, and of course, get the steaks. Those things are incredible. They've got appetizers, meatballs, wings. They've got desserts. They've even got wine. They've got everything you guys need to celebrate America's birthday with your friends and your family. Go to omahasteaks.com/dogs and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out, and you'll get an extra $30 off your order. So set off the fireworks in everybody's mouth with Omaha Steaks this 4th of July. Head to omahasteaks.com/dogs. Get 50% off site-wide during the 4th of July sale, and make sure you guys punch in that promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out to get an extra $30 off your order. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Speaking of swings, we got to make smart calculated ones, especially when we're doing like redraft leagues. And we talked about running back values last week. So we're just going to ride out the rest of this episode, however long it ends up going. And we're just going to talk about some of these guys because obviously I'm looking at Fantasy Pros rankings here. I mean, we all know CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Chase, Amon-Ra, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. Might as well just go through the top 10, like Garrett Wilson, Puka, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, and Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, obviously these guys are all going to be round 1, round 2 picks. They're going to go early. You're going to have to invest heavily to get them. But if you decide not to go with these guys, or you grab one of these guys early, and then you take a couple running backs, or you take a tight end, or you go Josh Allen early, you need to know what wide receivers later in the draft can I be targeting? So is there anybody on like top of your head you wanted to talk about?
I guess a guy that, so for redraft, a guy to keep an eye on, and I think he'll still go high, but I think Garrett Wilson, if Rodgers does stay healthy, he always kind of needs that like alpha target, right? Whether it was Devontae Adams, I could see Garrett Wilson being easily top 5, getting in like, and when you're getting thrown around with those names like CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like elite talent. I think that he just needs good quarterback play.
He's produced
without it. Right. True. And you, that's the thing that's crazy is his quarterback play has been so bad, and he's been a constant kind of like a 15 points a game.
He'll have some games where it's like 2 because he got 1 target or something, but that's the quarterback play. It's not like he's missing time or anything like that. So, I think, an early value, you're right. Like if you don't want to invest in the first round on some of those guys, I think you can get a Garrett Wilson in the second. So if you wanted to go like a high-end running back, Breece Hall or Bijan, and then just grab Garrett Wilson on the way back, that could play out well for your wide receiver 1.
And how about, I would consider him an elite guy, but coming off of not an elite season, what about Devontae Adams with Gardner Minshew?
I think Devontae Adams, he's always a lock to produce.
For sure. So I think that he's a guy that, based off of last year, I don't know if he slips that much because it's Devontae Adams, but I could see what he finished last year and then like going into this year.
Well, they got him at wide receiver 9 right now, and the guy right behind him, like if we're talking about earlier values, and I think that a guy like Chris Olave could continue to ascend and really hold down a wide receiver 1 spot for your team. And I've heard all kinds of metrics on him, and I don't have them in front of me, but I know like his fantasy points per target, his yards per route run, like fantasy points over expected, and like all those kind of like deeper metrics from these guys. Like Chris Olave was leading all of that stuff. It was just his quarterback play was kind of holding him back. Derek Carr. And we see some of these quarterbacks in the first year, so I'm a little bit on Kirk Cousins in the first year in Atlanta because it's like they don't always go right in and just blow up. Right. I mean, Tom Brady did when he went to Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. A lot of times when these bigger name quarterbacks go to a new team, it's like that first year is not exactly what you hyped it up to be.
Yeah.
So I think that Chris Olave, and they didn't do anything to add wide receiver talent to that team. No. I mean, they just got rid of Michael Thomas. It's just all about Chris Olave. And I think that there could be a very good opportunity for him to finish as a top 8 wide receiver this year.
The only thing, I guess my only argument with that would be, and it's just like a personal thing, I just don't trust Derek Carr these days. Which is crazy because for years when he was with the Raiders, I was like, give me some Derek Carr.
He's got like one of the highest downfield passing rates though, or something like that in the league. Yeah. Like the amount of attempts that he takes downfield is on the higher end among quarterbacks. So, and that's where Chris Olave kind of thrives is getting, and they were just talking about if he could get more of the intermediate work, he'll really blow up into that like locked and loaded wide receiver 1. So we'll see.
Right. Okay.
But as far as like scrolling down a little bit more though, like the first guy that I think is an under the radar kind of lower value guy right now who could produce wide receiver 1 numbers for you is Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
I think the entire passing game in Miami is pretty much Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yes.
And Waddle has shown that he can still produce 1,000+ yard seasons and touchdowns and stuff, even with Tyreek. So Jalen Waddle is a guy I'm definitely targeting. Probably, I think you could probably get him in like 3rd round.
Yeah.
Probably have a redraft.
Yeah. Just a little bit of injury concern, but like not awful.
He's a little bit smaller receiver.
Yeah. But I guess a guy for me that I think you can get, and I'd be interested where he's at on there, a guy that I think is going to get a ton of targets and like I think his athletic ability is just going to come out as Malik Neighbors. If you're, I don't know.
26.
Okay. That's actually, that's still.
So they don't even have him ranked as a wide receiver 2.
Right. Going into the season, it probably wouldn't look like that. But if you are the number 1 alpha receiver, all the targets, because there's who's in New York, Darius Slayton,
Wan'Dale Robinson,
Bellinger, he'll be
Darren Waller retired, so
he'll be Bellinger will be the tight end now. Like for me, I'm like, this kid is special. Like he's gonna demand targets. And he's going to probably do very, very well as long as the quarterback play is.
Yeah. Now, I don't think Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback by any stretch, so don't hear what I'm not saying, but he's good enough.
Yeah.
He's good enough to have an elite wide receiver to throw the ball at him. Mm-hmm. I believe that. So I'm with you. I think Malik Neighbors now, I wouldn't wait on him to just say, I'm going to take him as my first wide receiver. No. I need more guys. But
this is kind of, I guess, I was thinking down the list a little bit.
Absolutely.
Later talent.
Yeah. So I guess around his range, would you rather have Malik Neighbors or would you rather swing on like Amari Cooper, who we just talked about, Keenan Allen, or Zay Flowers?
Oh, that's the group right there.
Yeah.
Give me Keenan Allen
over Neighbors.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, because for me, this is redraft. give me the proven commodity. I know it's a new system, new team, but like you said, he's gonna be his best friend. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of mouths to feed, but Keenan Allen is.
He might have the biggest mouth to feed because he's just a target machine.
One, yes.
Yeah. Going down a little further here. I mean, I've talked about Christian Kirk on the show before, wide receiver 29. I think Christian Kirk could honestly slot in and be like a consistent wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
For a team, for your fantasy team.
He balled out last year.
Yeah. Now, I think you're going to get spike wide receiver 1 weeks out of him. And then you get other weeks where it's like, okay, he didn't hurt my team. He helped, but he didn't win me the week, obviously. But he was going to get you 8 to 12.
I know when they brought Ridley in, I was like, man, Ridley, this is a primo deal. Christian Kirk's going to run the slot. Like, man, this is going to be a great deal for Calvin Ridley. I could not have been more wrong.
Me too. I took him everywhere.
Oh, who, Ridley?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That was stupid.
I mean, the process wasn't wrong. He's a great wide receiver. It just didn't work last year.
Yeah. But did work for Christian Kirk.
Yeah. So that's why Brian Thomas Jr. doesn't really scare me in terms of, well, does that, I think Kirk he's proven what he can do on the field. He's got the rapport with Trevor Lawrence.
For sure. Agreed. Yeah.
The only one the only real competition for target is going to be Evan Ingram.
Yeah. Which he has that chemistry also.
I think
Trevor Lawrence.
We'll talk about tight ends too on one of the next shows, but I mean, Evan Ingram's a guy that I'm scooping up where I can.
For sure.
Because I think that he's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Again.
And he'd probably be lower, especially like after Travis Kelce's and Laporta's and, those kind of guys are off the board.
Like, I'm not taking Trey McBride in the 3rd. I would take Evan Ingram like in the 7th or wherever he goes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy that Trey McBride is going to be, do you think he'll go that high? I mean,
that's where I've seen him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Trey McBride. Great player. His only competition for targets is Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they're both going to have a lot of targets with Kyler Murray. So I like that spot. 3rd round pick.
Yeah. Let me just see here.
Yeah,
so
intrigue me.
Sam Laporta right now is going as tight end 1.
Correct.
At pick 23. So that would be right before the end of the 2nd round. And then tight end, I guess they still got Travis Kelce at tight end 2.
Okay.
Trey McBride, tight end 3 at pick 45. So where would that put him? 4th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4th round.
Okay.
Still pretty high.
Yeah.
A lot higher than what I want to take
for
tight
sure.
end that, who knows?
I mean,
Evan Ingram looks like he's going at 70. So almost double.
Yeah.
Or not almost double, but.
Or like Njoku.
Njoku's going even later. He's at 92.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
that's insane.
That's a dart throw. I feel like that's better than a dart throw, though.
Yeah. So back to wide receivers here.
Okay.
Let's see. We talked about those guys. Another guy that is interesting to me, and I would be willing to invest if he falls to me like at a good spot in the draft, would be Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Because I think Jaden Daniels is going to be the best quarterback he's ever played with.
Okay.
He's been a stud with a bunch of bums, and they really don't have a Jahan Dawson. Kind of fell off last year.
He's nice. I don't think it like that situation last year.
No,
I don't think anybody was going to look super successful.
No. So, I mean, Terry would be a guy that I'd be looking at too. And if you want a piece, we talked about this with Nico Collins' contract. If you want a piece of the Houston Texans team, I mean, I really do like Nico. I think he's in for a big year.
Yeah.
But I'm taking...
What about Tank?
I'm taking Tank Dell because he's going clear down at wide receiver 30.
Right.
Pick 66. Like, a super huge discount. I mean, where's Diggs? All the way up here at 37. I'm not taking Diggs at 37.
Call me crazy, but there's and I think you saw it last year. Tank Dell was like kind of making waves that maybe he was the wide receiver 1. You know, like he production wise, like
he was producing for sure. CJ Stroud loves him.
Yeah.
They're like best friends. I mean, he told the team to draft him.
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever he was asked on the one show about like his top 5 receivers or whatever, build your all-star team. Mm-hmm. He put Tank Dell in the slot position for his all-star team. So, I mean, out of all the receivers in the league, that's who he wants. I mean, obviously he's showing some love to his teammate, but he believes in the guy.
Right.
You know, they came in together. So there's definitely something there. So I'm Tank Dell all day. How are you feeling about Jaden Reed?
I have Jaden Reed in Dynasty. It's one of those things, like, I like how they use him because he's kind of like the Swiss Army knife. He's like, super light Debo. But, like, for me, the only thing is a lot of mouths. Christian Watson could be if healthy, he could be a wide receiver 1. A lot of people like Dontavian Wicks, and even Bo Melton, and you have Josh Jacobs there now. Like, that's my only concern now. Like, for me, I took him 3rd round in a rookie draft, and I'm just sitting on him because if he is something, you know what I mean. But like in redraft, it's risky. That's one that I would honestly, in a redraft league, unless the value is way down, I'd almost kind of avoid.
So Jaden Reed in redraft, they got him right now going at 75 overall. Would you take him, or would you wait a while? You can get Xavier Worthy at 103. You can get Rome Odunze at 106. Cortland Sutton at 110.
So Cortland Sutton, to me, that one's super intriguing.
At 110? Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I know different quarterback now. You got a rookie, I would assume, in both mix. Mm-hmm. But if Cortland Sutton's, I know he's got some contract stuff going on. And I think he might have been sitting out for camp, but if he's there, he's the one.
Yeah, that one really interesting to me, to clear down at 110. That's nuts.
And proved it last year. Like, yeah, his rookie season was super nice, and then he had some injury things, but like last year was kind of a revival of his career. He kind of balled out.
Yeah, he did. Caught a ton of touchdowns.
Yeah, a nice touchdown.
You can't just project him to do that again. I mean, new quarterback touchdowns are always, they're not real sticky stats, but I mean, he balled out on the field. For sure. Yep. And then another, he's a rookie, but Ladd McConkey at 108.
I like Ladd McConkey a lot.
He is already the clear-cut wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert.
Which, I'm not saying he's going to be Keenan Allen, but my goodness, if you see that kind of target share, because I look at the depth chart for the Chargers, and I'm like, I don't know if Quentin Johnson's going to, I don't know if he's that guy. Didn't look like it last year. I know he was a rookie.
He didn't flash. That's the thing. Like, he didn't even show.
Right. I just think about like the drop ball, and I'm like, I just remember like people just panic. You finally had an opportunity, and just kind of.
He just reminds me of like Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
Like, 1st round pick.
Yep.
Didn't show anything as a rookie. See you later.
Joshua Palmer's a guy that I've over the years I've picked up. Like,
he would be a guy
mid-season. You know what I mean? Like, these 2-3 guys are out.
That's a guy to take late in your draft,
because he could be the one. You know what I mean? He could be your wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert. Yeah,
and he could be a good flex player for you guys in your fantasy lineups.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I like that one a lot. I like Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
In Vegas, Gardner Minshew's not a terrible quarterback. He's competent, which is more than what they had last year, I feel like.
For sure. Yep.
And Jacoby Myers produced.
Yeah.
I think that he's a little bit older now. Like, he's probably 28-ish.
He's a stud though.
But I feel like he's still ascending. His career took a little while.
Yeah.
To really, really take off. And now I feel like he's in that prime window. So, and anything happens to Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers is like the guy.
Yeah.
Besides Brock Bowers, but I mean, it's a different position. So.
Right. Yep.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. We talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order, and that code can be used over and over, so you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS. Khalil Shakir kind of interests me a little bit.
You saw the chemistry at the end of the year last year. Like, I mean, if you want to get in on that offense, I mean, I would say he's probably the guy, right? Keon Coleman.
Yeah, if you want to swing at Coleman later in the draft, I don't have a problem with that.
I guess I think you have to see how things play out in camp too, and see like how is Josh Allen favoring a receiver, because if you're going to take one of these guys, take the one, you know what I mean? Whoever it is. Yeah. I just feel like it's so far out. Like it's tough to say. I mean, in Dynasty, yes, like Keon Coleman, give me that. That's going to be nice. Khalil Shakir, give me that, but.
How about a guy that we're very familiar with, clear down at wide receiver 55, 136 overall, and that's Jerry Jeudy.
So it's live and die with Deshaun Watson, right? There's like super, to me, like I look at it and I'm like, man, way down there, like great value at the end of the draft. If things happen the way that we think, if Deshaun Watson goes out there and balls out and this new offense is as good as they say it is, and he's just throwing all over the yard, Jerry Jeudy's for that late, I mean, he might be your wide receiver too.
I think there's a very strong chance that happens.
Right. So,
and if he stays down here this far, now we'll see what happens throughout camp. There might be more hype and all that kind of stuff, but you take a late shot at Jerry Jeudy and it doesn't look like it's working out the first couple of weeks, and you just cut him and pick somebody else up.
Yep.
God
forbid anything happens with Amari Cooper. Now you have a guy that's running wide receiver one routes. He's would technically be the guy.
It's very true. I mean, we didn't really talk about it on the other show, but I mean, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't expect it, but there is a world where, I mean, the Browns stand to save a lot of money by just cutting or trading Amari Cooper. And if they don't trade for anybody to really come in and replace him, they just trade him to get his contract off. Jerry Jeudy is the top guy. Yeah. And I just think that investment is worth it that late in the draft.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see. We've talked about Joshua Palmer. I definitely like him. Are you trying to run it back with Adam Thielen at all late in the draft?
No, probably not. Only because I think that they got better. That room got better. Thielen was nice last year because he got all the targets in a bad offense. His numbers were crazy, but I think Deontay Johnson is very good. I think just that trade, he comes in as the one. And they got Leggett. So, and Sanders at tight end. So for me, I don't think that same magic, and maybe the chemistry between those two is great, right? Because I don't know for sure. I don't follow Carolina really like that. But if the chemistry is still good, then wherever he's going, how late are we talking?
We're talking wide receiver 65.
So just guys you're just picking up after the draft.
Probably.
Yeah. That's worth a risk. But I guess fire some names off around him though.
Well, okay, here's the Dontavian Wicks for Green Bay. Again, a lot of mouths to feed. Darnell Mooney in Atlanta, change of scenery. And Marvin Mims is clear down here at 175. Could somehow be the wide receiver one for Denver. Who knows?
Right.
Troy Franklin's right behind him. Guy at 182 that I would suggest everybody keep an eye on, like make a little star on your draft sheets as you go in, if he's still this late, is Ricky Pearsall. And this could completely change if they decide to trade Brandon Ayuk
or sign him
or Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like his value will be way down here if they keep him.
Right.
But did you see that video of him with Jaden Daniels, wherever he said, they don't want me, dude.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I'm like, kind of seems like now's the time to get in on some Ricky Pearsall. Just first round pick. By all accounts, the 49ers are enamored with him.
Yep.
And if you remember, it took Brandon Ayuk a couple years to get out of the doghouse there. I don't know what the situation is, but it just doesn't seem like him and Samuel are both long for that team.
Right. Same situation. This is down the board too. So just a lot of mouths. You're talking.
It is.
McCaffrey, Kittle, Deebo, Ayuk. If Ayuk's still there too, that's
if we're going to talk rookies, which at this point in the draft, a lot of these guys are rookies. But if you want to take a late swing on Roman Wilson for the Steelers,
that's interesting.
There's nobody else in the wide receiver room except for Pickens. Really.
Yep.
And I think Roman Wilson, he was one of my favorite prospects coming out this year. So I think he's got a legit opportunity to, and I don't know how much they're really going to throw the ball, but they still have to throw the ball.
Yes. Yeah.
And they can't throw it to Pickens every single time.
True.
And you never know. Wilson might end up by the end of the year. We look back and say, Roman Wilson's their best receiver. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Which would be, as a Browns fan, that would be tough.
It would be tough for sure. Other than that, man, do we like Zay Jones in Arizona? We're talking like 248. We're talking these are guys that you're done with your draft.
If he can stay healthy,
You're looking at waivers.
he's a guy that I've always liked the last couple of years, and he just can't stay on the field.
Another guy that you could pick up after the draft would be a guy like Javon Baker for New England. Again, I kind of mentioned it when we did like our rookie draft recap. Not a big Jalen Polk fan. They took in the second round, but they took Baker, I think, in the fourth.
Yeah, I think that sounds
And
right.
I know a lot of scouts and analysts were a lot higher on him. If I had to put my chips in on one, if somebody said one of those two guys becomes their top receiver by the end of the year, I would put money on Baker over Polk. But do you have a feel on that?
So the only other, I've heard good things about him, like just from like on sleeper stuff like that, like on, stash these guys. My only argument would be you got DeMario Pop Douglas, but same thing. Honestly, my biggest thing right now, other than Jacoby Brissett, I'm kind of staying away from New England.
I don't blame you on that.
I just don't really right now. I mean, I'm just very nervous that could be not a great offense.
I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah. I love Stevenson. I love Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's one of those guys. He could be a RB1 on your team, but I just, man,
he could not.
This is a huge turnaround for that team. They're pretty much building from the beginning. So
new coaching staff and everything in New England, and in free agency, they went out and they brought in Antonio Gibson. Yeah. So it makes me a little leery of Stevenson. It was kind of a disappointing season last year.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. Like, I would just steer away from the New England team this year.
Just for a year.
Yeah.
See,
And you know what? If you're wrong, you're wrong, but it's not worth the risk, in my opinion.
I agree.
So that's pretty much it. We've kind of hit the bottom of the list here. Were there any other wide receiver names that you were thinking as we went through just to throw out, or?
I think like a very interesting one, and it's risky. We'll see how it all falls out, but I know a lot of people think that Puka is taking over like the wide receiver one spot with the Rams with Matt Stafford, who's just chucking the ball all over the place. I'm kind of curious to see like where Cooper Kupp starts falling, and because he's a guy, I mean, he's 2 years removed from a Triple Crown.
Yeah, and he's wide receiver 20, pick 39.
That's
he's
still
going
high.
right around.
I guess, yeah.
Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith. So out of that grouping, are you taking Kupp over all those guys, or were there some names in there that you would swing on over Kupp?
I mean, I like Devontae Smith. I have a lot of Devontae Smith. The only thing is, he's the 2, but he still produces. His numbers are, if that's your flex guy or something like that. Who are some of the other ones? I heard DK Metcalf.
Metcalf, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle.
Give me Mike Evans.
I like Mike
Give
Evans,
me Mike
man.
Evans.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Give me some Mike Evans in that situation. All day.
See, and I honestly, were you about to say you're not big on DK Metcalf?
No, it's not that I'm not even, there's just inconsistencies. You know what I mean? Like,
there is, but I don't know. For me, it's going to depend on where he's at in my draft, what my team looks like.
Yep.
Because if I get him as my wide receiver 2, and I've already got like a stud earlier in the draft, I kind of like that shot because he's the one for the Seahawks.
Yep.
I think that we saw Tyler Lockett. That step probably was lost last year. I think
agree.
he's probably
That's
on
fair.
the decline.
That's fair.
JSN was okay as a rookie. I don't know if they really used him
Correct.
the best way to,
Correct, yeah.
So we'll see. New staff there too. Maybe they've got more planned, but
I mean, I will say this about DK. Like, he's shown that he can be that dude.
yes.
Like, he burned me last year on that Monday night game where he had, 3 touchdowns at half. I was like, okay.
Is that against the Cowboys too?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for him, a big thing with it is Geno Smith, you know?
Yeah.
Like, can you get some of that magic back from 2 years ago where he kind of like revitalized his career? If it's like last year, yeesh. New coaching staff, probably new offense altogether. So give me Mike Evans.
Mike Evans over Cooper Kupp. Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp or Jalen Waddle. Oh man, that's tough. I'd probably say Jalen Waddle, honestly. Who was the other one?
That was it.
Okay.
I was just, yeah.
Yeah. I would say Jalen Waddle, honestly.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill's not that far away from retiring. I know it's redraft, but
yeah. Yeah. So I hope you guys, there's some good names in there. If there's any wide receivers that you're interested in our thoughts or opinions on, just drop them in the comments. Mm-hmm. Let us know. Twitter, you can ask us there on Facebook or Instagram or, on YouTube. Just let us know. We're happy to talk fantasy with you guys and, get your thoughts and opinions. You can get ours. And that's the nice thing about fantasy is everybody, for the most part, like you've got a take on a guy and you've got a reason for it. So it's always interesting for me to hear what people have to say about a certain player and why they feel that way, especially if it's a different opinion than what I have.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, and we will all find out together as the season rolls along.
Jarrett Stidham.
All right. That's an inside joke because, all right. When our Dynasty League first started, our other Dynasty League, I rostered Jarrett Stidham every year. I think I picked him up and dropped him more times than anybody's ever been picked up.
I had him rostered at the beginning of the year. I can't even hate on you, man.
That was when he was in New England. Mm-hmm. And I like Jarrett Stidham in college.
Yeah.
Kind of like you were with Jordan Travis. I saw him in college and I was like, I like this player. I really do. And that was when Tom Brady was getting older. He was like 38. And I'm like, there's no way this guy's playing many more years. Who knew?
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I'm going to get Jarrett Stidham. That might be the succession plan. It wasn't. But he was there for like 3 years. So for 3 years, he just kind of hung out on my roster when I probably could have picked somebody else up. But whatever. It's super flex. It was a quarterback.
Yeah.
You just never know until you know.
Got to do it.
But these guys give me shit all the time for it. So Jarrett Stidham, my boy.
Yeah.
Although now I don't have him anymore, but whatever. All right, we'll wrap this thing up. Like I said, if you guys got questions or anything, comments, your own takes, whatever you guys want, just drop them in. We'd be happy to read some of your stuff on the show too. If you want, just let us know you want us to, and we will. Ask us questions. We can address it on the next episode. That'd be a lot of fun to get a little more interaction. So I know the show's new, but we're going to stick with it, keep doing it. It's a lot of fun talking fantasy, and we do it all the time anyway, like we always say.
Yes.
Might as well just record it, give it to you guys. So, all right, we'll wrap this thing up. We'll be back next week. Again, like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you guys turn on the notification bell so you get updates when we put out new stuff and our dog bites and all of that. And again, 5-star reviews on the audio platforms go a long way. We appreciate it. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow the podcast on social media at The Dawgs Fantasy.